I'm not watching out for you because I'm like, where is he? Anyway, good morning. Welcome, everybody.
Hey, everyone. It wasn't me late this time. It was Peter.
This is Talking Niagara, and it is April the 27th. So last week in April. Yeah. So welcome, everyone.
Yes, last week of April. April's almost done. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
1/3 of the year done. Finished.
Right. So we're going to start this show with some fake news this morning.
Fake news. Okay, I love that.
Man was held after shooting at White House Correspondents' Dinner. Do you think anybody was really trying to shoot Donald Trump? I don't know.
Yes, I do. I'm not into this. The BS. Look, there's lots of nuts out there. Two other people have tried to kill him. People were after Obama and Bush and Clinton and all that. It's just the way it is. There are nutcases out there. Yeah. One thing you do know, of course, we're talking here, of course, of the attack by someone who I forgot his name right now, but he'd probably be the last person you'd think that would arm himself up and attack the president. There's a couple of notes, though, here. I want to know who the hell is in charge of security. Yeah. This is the third time that an amateur has tried to kill the president. The first one nicked his ear. The second one was sitting in the golf course, all ready to go. And this guy, all three of them are rank amateurs. So why is it that they got as close as they did? It is said that Iran, they're worried about operatives sending assassins, like Iran sending assassins to kill the president. Well, definitely they haven't, because they would have been sending professionals. The president would have been dead by now if any real professional was sent to kill him, because the security is pathetic. A number of people who were there at the event or other events in the same hotel or area described the security as pathetic. Pathetic. There was no, particularly the entrance into the foyer and the big early parts, there was terrible security. Thereafter, it was strong. Once you got closer to the president, it was stronger. But to get entry into the hotel and stuff like that was very, very easy. It was child's play. The reporters themselves noticed how easy it was and wondered why the security was as lax as it was at the hotel layer of security, which tells you that no real professional has come after the president as yet, because there's so many lapses in security that a real professional would have got through and taken him out. And sadly, they had better start doing something better. I said this way back when Biden was still president, and there was a couple of attempts on Trump. What is wrong with you? Get this guy protected. Like, if Trump gets shot, you will have a civil war. Everybody says, well, a lot of people say, oh, well, that would be good for the country to have president killed. No, it wouldn't be. You'd have a civil war. You'd have all kinds of problems. The best way to get rid of Trump is legally get rid of him, either through Amendment 25, because he's off his rocker, or just outvote him, or whatever else, right?
Yeah.
But people who say, oh, well, it'd be good to, no, it's never good to assassinate anybody, really.
No, it isn't.
You could argue that Hitler and Stalin could be assassinated, and each one of them had multiple attempts on their lives. But, a duly elected leader like Trump, whether you like him or not, he was elected by the people. So to kill him is bad news. I mean, particularly at this crossroads in history where we really do need a reset button somewhere along the line. Anyway, I want to say, everybody praises the the security forces for coming out and stopping this guy. One of the guys took a bullet, but
why did you get in there in the first place?
Yeah. Stopped it. What?
Why did you get in there in the first place? That's the biggest question.
That's it. How did he even get that close? And he's weaponed up, like he had. He was able to get a shot off, and he shot one of the security guys in the flak jacket. So he had murder on his mind. He did shoot a person. What got into this guy's head? He doesn't seem to be, if you read about him, doesn't seem to be the type of guy that would do anything like this. And who is in charge of security? What's going on? That's 3 times they've gone after this guy, and 3 times they almost were successful. What's wrong with them? Where's the security? This is the president of the United States. You know, it was bad enough when he was a candidate.
All right. And moving on, the palace has said, despite this, the visit of King Charles is going to go to the US is going ahead.
Well, King Charles isn't much of a target anymore. The IRA has long finished its nastiness, and so who wants to target Prince Philip? There's always a nut trying to kill somebody somewhere. I mean, a nut killed John Lennon, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
So there's always a nut out there. So you always have to protect yourself against the nuts, the whack jobs. But I don't think, aside from ordinary security that they normally use, anything is ramped up. I mean, you're not having squads of ISIS or something like that looking for the King of England, you know.
Yeah.
But I think it's a very good thing that Charles is doing what he's doing. King Charles is coming and talking to Trump. He seems to have a calming effect on the guy, you know. Trump seems to be so erratic and unprofessional and emotional rather than rational. But King Charlie seems to have some sort of calming effect on him. You got to wonder if Charles is, shouldn't he be protesting Trump or protesting what he's doing and protesting the war in Iran? Well, that's not Charles's job, is it?
No.
He may have conversations with him on the QT, but it's all pomp and circumstance, and Trump loves pomp and circumstance.
No, the arguing politics would be the prime minister's job, not King Charles's job.
No, not at all. They would discuss a number of things, I'm sure, but you know,
they may even touch on things that are broadly political. But I suspect they'll probably cover things like the World Cup as well.
Oh, yeah, a number of things. It'd probably good for the president, you know. And they don't like the guy. I don't like what he's doing. But the guy has a tendency to go really irrational and off the deep end a bit. So if you have a calming influence like the King of England is there, to ask him to relax a bit, that might be good for us all.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay. All right. One other comment. Okay. In the end, all politics will be erased, and the final establishment will be cosmic and psalm to a king. Okay.
That's a biblical response. Yeah. We've found more and more biblical quotations I've seen in a very long time since this administration has come out. A lot of people are reestablishing their faith and so on, some against, some for the president. A lot of people think he's a false prophet. There is a movement among MAGA right now that suggests that Trump may be the Antichrist because he follows the according to whatever book it is, that he looks like the Antichrist to some of MAGA followers now, which is not good for him because he needs the MAGA followers in subsequent elections.
Mm. All right. Okay.
There's a lot of religion involved. Have you noticed that? I pointed this out before too. Look, you don't only have the Shia and the Sunni religious factions in the Middle East, which we hear about all the time, but you've got the strong fundamentalist Christians and Christian Zionists in the States. You have Judaist movements. You have the settler movement and the Greater Israel movement, both religiously backed type of movements in Israel, and of course you have this upswelling of people kind of looking to their faith. What's happening with the Pope and all? There's a lot of religious. If somebody had told me 25 years ago that religion would be playing a big role in 2026's election and politics, I would have thought you were nuts.
Yeah. All right. Coming back local. Former landfill site at basically up by the QEW there at Mountain Road is going to become a recreational park. This is the one that used to be a landfill that was, I keep forgetting the name of the damn road up there.
Newburn.
Yeah. There we go. Okay.
So it's Mewburn with an M. Mewburn. Mewburn.
That's it. Right. Okay. So thank you for that, Dave. I don't know what happened there. This whole thing. I didn't have any.
Here's a good comment. Here's a good comment by Mike Cushman, and it says Trump is going to put the king on the spot and ask about Falkland Islands.
He ain't gonna get it. Why would he? Why does he even want that godforsaken part of the world?
Right? Because look, I tell you, like the Argentina president is Trump's buddy, right? Mm. Trump's giving him all kinds of money, $50 billion. But guess what has been found around the Falkland Islands?
Oil.
Yes, oil, right? So Argentina wants it again. I mean, it's been in British possession since 1830, but it's been a disputed place for years. The people there who live on it want to remain part of Britain. Britain would have been happy to get rid of it if years ago they could have negotiated it, but of course they started a war and Britain felt obliged to protect it. Now all of a sudden they found oil in it, and what does Trump loved more than anything, it seems like, is oil.
Mhm.
And he wants to hand it over to his buddy from Argentina. He wants to reawaken the Falkland thing.
Yeah,
What do you think, Britain? If it's full of oil, Britain's going to want to keep it.
absolutely. Britain's going to want to keep it. They're not going to be handing it over to the US, not for anything.
Now
in the world.
the problem that I hear, and this is for Mike's benefit because he brought the topic up, and the problem here is it would be much more easy to facilitate the oil fields from Argentina.
Yep.
Well, I can see some sort of a deal happening back and forth between Argentina and the UK, maybe shared oil revenues once they start pumping for it. Now, the problem here also is that these particular, the Falklands and the Georgian Islands, particularly the Falklands, they're very important to the wildlife of the area, seals and whales and all other kinds of things. So now when you start to drill, you have to be environmentally conscious.
But again, they've done it in the North Sea.
Yes, but this is south of the Atlantic in an area where I believe a lot of whales and migrate past.
Yeah,
that's one of the reasons
what I was saying is
Britain wanted it back in the day, because it was good for whaling.
But what I was saying was that they did. When I said they did it in the North Sea, both Britain and Norway have actually put in environmentally conscious wells in the North Sea that have not.
Well, I'm just saying that it's a consideration.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
But geopolitically, okay, here's the UK and Europe are putting up resistance against Trump. They don't like his war. Trump suddenly says, well, you're NATO, you got to help me with this war, but never didn't ask anybody about it. The war started going bad. So now he demands help. So in order to get back at Britain or everything else, he'll do anything like this. He'll say that, Argentina should have the Falklands.
Yeah.
Well, during the first Falkland War, when Thatcher and Reagan were around, Reagan supported the Britain's position.
Yeah.
So
the irony, of course, about the Falklands War is that in 1982, in the 70s, Britain had been selling Argentina its old junk warships. So
the UK has been selling its beat up old warships to Argentina, right?
Yeah, Argentina, and then of course the Argentine former British warships suddenly attacking the Falkland Islands. Yeah.
Well, I was in London when the Sheffield got hit by an Exocet missile. 200 guys got killed. 200 sailors got killed. I was just come out of watching a play in London, and I'm walking down the street, and this guy's running down the street yelling about the Sheffield being shot and by an Exocet missile. It's very, very upset.
Well, the interesting thing is about that, Dave, is that the response of the Sun when they put down when they sank an Argentinian ship in response to that sinking of the Sheffield, right? The Sun had one word on the front page apart from the normal, the Sun. The one word was gotcha.
That's stupid. Look, that whole war was dumb. The Argentinian president needed a diversion. The country was in bad shape.
Yeah.
They needed some kind of distraction for the people. He was facing revolts and all that. So they started this war. It was a needless loss of life.
Yeah.
Needless.
Yeah.
And I hope dumb stuff like that doesn't happen again. Remember, if Trump gets involved, you don't know how dumb it can get. I mean, he started this dumb war in Iran, That's killed what, about 3,000 or 4,000 Iranians right now. Half of them at least are innocent civilians, including 160, 170 schoolgirls in a school. They still haven't had the courage to admit they did that, even though all evidence points to it.
All right. So, are we coming back local again?
Yeah, let's swing back local. Well, thanks for that. Mike. Thanks a lot for that. It's something that we could hope to get more involved in later. Also, this is nice for our listeners to suggest topics we could segue to, things that are of interest to them.
Well, okay, so yeah, but again, I think the Mountain Road area should be this Mountain Road site, the former dump, is something we should all be concerned about because, whilst it seemed on the surface, okay, it's nice to have a nice super park, but we know that the kind of dumping that's been going on in this neighborhood is not exactly been environmentally friendly.
You mean in and around the dump? Well, mostly the dump has been.
I don't know about what has happened at this dump, but we know that there's been so many issues with other dumps that there's big question marks around them.
Well, I don't think there's a whole lot of question marks in it because you could not take oil or batteries or any other kind of thing there. You could slip a few things in there once in a while if the garbage collector didn't notice it. But a lot of toxic waste stuff had already been looked at. So what you're going to get mostly there is you're going to get it's earth mixed with garbage. And back in those days, there was a lot of organic garbage because they didn't separate the organics. What this means is that you're going to have garbage, and that could be anything from old construction stuff to any amount of other things from your household or whatever. And the ground will be settling. It will not be firm. You can't put buildings on it or something like that because the ground is still settling quite a bit and shifting.
Yeah.
If you were up, I was in that dump quite a bit. And what they do basically is they put the garbage and then they add earth to it. They add earth to it and soil to it and mix it with the garbage. And then with the big tractors and bulldozers and stuff like that, they mow it and push it and sort of form it in a certain shape, right? As they built it up, there was a couple of guys there. I knew them. They were real good lads.
Okay.
And they would do this. That was what they would do.
There's actually a serious question here by Gary, which he said, wondering if they will erect a monument for the little girl that was murdered by her father and dumped at the landfill.
Oh, I wish they would. Are they positive that that's where the little girl is?
I don't know. I think this is before my time, but it sounds a very important issue, a very important question there, Gary. All right. Do you know about this landfill? The person left in the landfill?
That's an old story. If it is, it kind of, I kind of have some old memories, but I could be.
Yeah.
I'm mixing them up with other memories.
Yeah, Gary's saying they never did find her.
And they think she's in there.
And presumably because her father pled guilty and admitted it, right?
Yes, they never did find her. Well, if that's the case, yeah, quite definitely. You have a little memorial for the wee one.
That's something that needs to be put to City Hall.
Yeah, but they're going to have to find that sounds like they're going to have to find proof and all that other stuff. And if there is an understanding that the little one's still in there, is in among the garbage, they can find whatever year that she had died. They can determine what layer she may be in and find her. Well, they actually did find some of the bodies out in, was it Manitoba?
Yeah.
Like they said, well, we'll never find them. And they demanded that they go find them. And they actually, I think they did find some of them. So that it's possible that you could find the little girl, but they may not know that she's in there or not in there. And that's the whole thing. Who's going to spend millions of dollars looking for someone that may or may not be there?
And a memorial would be a good thing to do.
Yeah, I think so. That's a good idea, Gary.
Yeah,
it's a very good idea.
I think we put up something, somebody needs to say something to City Hall. And Gary's saying she was, so to say, very close to Fireman's Park. Remember that? I remember that case very well. I'm sure you do, Gary. Right? I'm sure you do. That's the sort of case that would affect people. And as I say, I wasn't here then, so I have no recollection of it.
Was that in the 60s?
Yeah. Oh, I will take your word for it, Dave.
I don't know.
Do we know the young lady's name? It's something to actually ask City Hall, because I think it's easy to put a memorial plaque up there.
I'm trying to look it up now. Girl being murdered and her body found.
He said 86. 86.
86.
Right. Yeah, have a great day, Mike.
Well, I can't find it right now. 1986, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll look for it a little bit later. But
yeah.
But if that is the case, yeah, definitely, that would be very appropriate.
Well, my concern, okay, so they're turning this into it's 65 hectares, which is 160 acres of parkland, and it does abut onto Fireman's Park, doesn't it?
Yeah, so they should just connect them.
Yeah,
Paul and I said so on a show. We talked about that, connecting them. I think some of the councilors have spoken that way as well. Plus, there's a little bit of extra land on Newburn Road that can be connected, parking. So there's a number of different things. It is limited what you can do, but so you can't put equipment there, playground equipment. You can't put buildings there and all that. But what you can do is replant it. You can have it as a vista where people can go up there and look around. You can see a lot from up there. Yeah. And so it'd be a great place for people to hike and just to hang out with nature if they replant it and reclaim it. As far as buildings and stuff like that, it's not suitable, but
yeah, I presume that since it as a former landfill, it basically has been left to vegetation since it was closed as a landfill.
Yeah, there was a process by which they capped it. So they would mix landfill with the garbage. Basically, there would be dirt that they would mix with the garbage and blend it with landfill, and then finally they capped it. They capped it with a certain soil. However, you can't dig down too deep there. You're still that's why it's unsuitable for buildings.
Yeah.
Not only is it still shifting and settling, but you're going to get into the garbage area there. You may have, I think Paul mentioned this as well. It would be off gassing. There might be some off gassing going on there, meaning there could be methane being produced there, and it still might be able to be used. I don't think there'd be a whole lot of methane available there, but we don't know. So
I noticed one thing about the former landfill site at McLeod and Montrose area where Rona, the back of Rona, I noticed they are seemingly now accessing that. There's some of that section has now been they're flattening it out.
Well, I can't tell you much about that. I haven't heard much about it.
I was passing by and I noted it. No, I don't know anything about it. I've not seen it on any city plans either.
Okay. Well, where the YMCA building, McBain's there, that was old landfill too, in and around there.
Yeah, it's across from the McBain Center. They're just flattening it out there.
Yeah, I think that area was all construction leftover materials, maybe from digging a canal or something. I don't know. I'm not sure. But in any case, let's get back to this one. Yeah. It will be a wonderful addition to the park. It doesn't going to seem to cost a whole lot. It'll cost the region $1 million, which is a drop in the bucket. It'll cost Niagara Falls about $30,000. And all you have to do is open it up and let everybody tromp around on it. I mean, it'd be a good open space for people to go. I'm thinking it's going to be one damn good toboggan run. Every time I've seen that, I thought, I wonder if kids go up there, sneak in there, and go down the toboggan. Because if we get a good winter with lots of snow, that'd be a great toboggan run.
And it goes down the hill on the north side, doesn't it?
Yeah, so there's all kinds of places for the kids can have just to tromp around there and hike up and down there. That'd be an excellent place. If you add the other city properties there, you're looking at 300 acres altogether, 120 hectares, roughly of area which the city, the people of Niagara Falls can enjoy. And I think it's a good idea, and it's relatively inexpensive. And it makes good use of that property, which could not be used for anything else right now. You could say, well, why don't you build some apartments on it or something like that? But you can't because of the shifting land, and it'll take decades for that to settle down.
Mm-hmm. Well, the one on McLeod is older anyway, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it had been concluded long prior to the one. I think the dump was going right up until 2000 or something like that. I can't remember. But anyway.
You mean this dump?
The dump we're talking about, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it's a lot newer, yeah. Well, that makes sense, actually, from the dates which you were saying about the death of this poor girl in 86, right?
Well, if there's any... If she's in there, we should have a memorial.
So, okay, Slick. I recall my dad finding all my Playboys and Penthouse magazines in the shed, and he took them all to the dump and gave them to Danny, one of the workers.
Donnie.
Donnie, yeah, sorry.
Well, there we go. Some of those Playboy and Penthouse might have been buried in that, and so the first thing we got to do is find Gary's Penthouse and Playboys, give them back to him. That may take we'll have to shave a few layers off of the hill there and find them. Yeah, so
the hill still gets too warm even in the dead of winter due to off-gassing.
Yeah, well, what's going to be happening is the regular decomposition of the organic stuff in there. All organic stuff was included in the garbage back in those days. So there'll be everything in there, even like it predates where we separated stuff for recycling. So there'll be, soup cans and jars and all kinds of typical garbage that you probably won't find too much in a landfill nowadays. So there will be an off-gassing, and there will be decomposition. So definitely decomposition adds heat to the area, and I don't know. I don't know how much though.
Yeah.
it'd be interesting. The decomposition will have to take place, and that will be part of what settles the place. And how much organic stuff is in there, to obviously it will be making methane, but I don't know if there's going to be enough to be able to utilize it like they do at Walker's. They take the methane and they mix it with natural gas that went into that power generator, the combined cycle machine at the Ontario Paper Company there. Gary has reached out to Tony Rakuto, so the review reporter.
Yeah. It's that's actually a well done, Gary. Thank you. I think that's the right decent thing to do. It's turning a bit of news which actually I don't find troubling at all, that they've actually turning this into a public area, so long as it's not dangerous to anybody.
Oh yeah, I don't think it'll be dangerous. I think it'll be a lot of fun. And as I said, you can't put equipment there, you can't put buildings there, but you can hang out there. You could, that's a good walk, a hike.
Yeah.
Like they talk about the vista there. You can see things from miles around. It's very close to the Bruce Trail, I think, as well. So it can connect.
It goes along the, certainly goes through Fireman's Park. Is more at that stage is, I think, closer to the railway, but I could be wrong.
Well, the thing is, if you're tromping the Bruce Trail, it's a nice diversion to go there and check out the vista.
Yeah,
but it should be a good inclusion. It's a nice space for Niagarans, and as the city grows and stuff, we're going to need more and more of these green spaces to sort of hang out in and get away from the stresses of ordinary everyday stresses of society.
All right. Okay. So anything else in relation to that Mountain View landfill?
Nothing. I just kind of think it's a good idea.
No, I do as well. I was a bit concerned about the possible contaminants there, but I think the trouble is that I think that's being managed.
Yeah, it seems to be managed fairly well.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on. So there's a new Gather tasting room that is giving guided wine tastings for visiting groups, and this is being set up in Crystal Beach. And I think that's a bit of an odd place for a wine tasting area, because Crystal Beach isn't exactly what you would call wine country.
I'm not so sure. I don't know how many vineyards are close to there. We have vineyards all over the Niagara region, but it does say that now this is a plug for another restaurant, and that's, I think, what this particular author, that's his job.
Yeah,
his or her job is to showcase the different places you can go in the region.
Yeah, exactly.
I think this is it's a pretty good idea to do that. You're looking for a place to go, place to take your wife or girlfriend or something like that, and this is just an option for you in Crystal Beach. Now, of course, there are places down there like the Crystal Chandelier. I go down there every once in a while to watch. They have some pretty good acts in the little small bar there. They get some pretty good musicians to come in there once in a while.
Yeah,
and so it's a nice place to go. But what they're here featuring is this is a good place to test wine of all varieties in and around the region, the VQA wines, and then just have a place where you can relax and kind of have a really good time. It's called Gather. As far as an article plug-in a restaurant, it's as good as any. The reason why I included it is just because sometimes we forget what's out there that offers us some sort of dining entertainment or music entertainment. We just kind of get into our own little world and we forget about it.
Yep. Oh, and these are important locally anyway. And when there's a new business opening up like this, I always think it's good to actually get it aired. You know, it would be nice if they gave us some money, wouldn't it? Sponsor the show, but that's another question.
Yeah. So anyway, this is an article by Milan Kirk's a contributing columnist to St. Catharines. He's a food lover who explores the best of Niagara, sharing his journey through the flavors. So basically, he's going to go through. Now, the problem with it, I don't think we have to worry about anyone giving this guy kickbacks. Niagara is not like metro area where an article or two in the newspaper is going to make a big deal for the revenue stream, which was typical. Typical accusations back in the day when they had restaurant reviewers in big cities, that somebody give them a nice big kickback and he'd dress up your restaurant real nice in an article. But I don't think we have to worry about that in this particular case. But he has he's saying a lot of different things here about this particular restaurant. But he also mentions places like Dario's Family, Cursina, Brimstone Brewing Company, Red Ganache, Mellow Yellow Sips, Sublife, and others in and around the area. This is, of course, called Gather Tasting Room on Derby Road, and it embodies the space you're looking for to relax, hang out, and have good conversation. Mm-hmm. So that's a place where you go with a bunch of your friends and just shoot the breeze. This would be a nice place for somebody who's a stamp collector or music, or somebody where you can talk about anything you want to talk about. You could take your archaeological society there, and you could have a nice dinner and shoot the breeze about archaeology or stamp collecting or any other things. It has, VQA. It pairs the VQA wines with thoughtful food menus, and I'm reading it right off the article right now because I wouldn't be able to know any of this because my taste buds are rather savage and primitive. But items such as cheese dots, samosas, baked brie, burrata, and a variety of meats and cheeses on a charcuterie boards are all available. We were just not complimenting. And anyway, so it's just a very nice and pleasant place to go and snack. I don't know what they, but I would mention this. When I was reading this article, I was thinking, don't we have too many restaurants already? I mean, this is a different one. This is a place you go dining. You might take your girlfriend or friends to, that kind of thing. But when I'm thinking of all the restaurants in and around there, don't we have like 1 million of them? I mean, who's supporting?
Actually, what I was going to ask is, it's not so much about the restaurants. It's about why aren't people going out anymore?
Money.
Yeah.
Like seriously, like it.
Oh, I know.
Costs a lot.
Yeah.
I bought 2 slices of pizzas and 2 beers, and a tip cost me $38. I mean, the people, like, if whatever's happening in the grocery stores, as you can see in the grocery stores, the spike in the prices of everything, and that is all translated into restaurants and bars. I notice when I go to restaurants and bars, I spend a lot less even when I go there, because it's cost prohibitive.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering who's keeping all these places alive. There seems to be more restaurants and less people going to them. So you can understand little pizza joints here and there surviving, but because they're neighborhood things, it's maybe like that. But there are so many restaurants out there. There are the typical McDonald's and Burger Kings and Swiss Chalets and all those things that are known. But there's also all kinds of little private ones. Like,
yeah. What bothers me is how expensive McDonald's has become.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't go there, so I've heard that. I've heard that McDonald's has become expensive, but I can't tell you when the last time I had a McDonald's hamburger. Probably 10 years ago, maybe. I don't know. I can't even remember the
Well,
last
I
time.
don't go in. I don't go anymore because it's too expensive. You know.
Yeah, I think I had an A&W burger about 5 years
Well,
ago.
that's interesting that A&W is now cheaper than McDonald's, and A&W has always been more expensive.
Well, before in the 70s or the 60s and 70s, Harvey's used to be the thing. Used to get it was way better than anybody else back then. The fries, the burger, everything was fabulous back then. It was so busy, the one on the lane. But you can't find that anymore. Like Harvey's changed and it became like everyone else. And so you can't really find the difference between one burger joint and another.
Well, Harvey's is actually one of the ones where you can choose your own things that go with it.
Yeah, but it used to be different. They used to make their own fries there. I used to watch the girls making the fries. They put the potatoes in the potato peeler, right? And potato peeler would peel them all, and then they would take the potatoes and slice them all up into a machine that will push them out and make the fries out of them, and then they put them in. But now they all buy them in a frozen bag.
Yeah, yeah. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody complained about it. And I like this because everybody complained to the Harveys, hey, what happened to your fries? They're not as good as they used to be. And they say, oh, our research says that people like our fries more now than they did before. Well, how can that be when everybody's complaining about them?
Yeah. All right. Okay. So moving on. All right. So Slovenia, Ireland, Netherlands, and Spain have all pulled out of the Eurovision Song Contest that happens in 2 weeks' time, and they're not going to be covering it on TV. In fact, Slovenia is going to be doing a Palestinian Palestinian event on the night, and this is all because of Israel's continued participation.
Yes. They shut Russia out back in 2022 because of the invasion of Ukraine. Well, they should be doing the same thing with Israel right now. No one suggests for a minute that they weren't allowed to protect themselves after Yair Sinwar and his goons crossed into Israel and killed upwards of 1,200 people. But the retribution they have leveled against the collective punishment they dumped on the Palestinians in Gaza is mind-blowingly barbaric. 72,000 people, 25,000 of them children and women. I think 25,000 just children, and the brutality in which they keep. They've knocked down every school, every mosque, every hospital. They knocked down every water facility, every power generator, and it just keeps going. So of course, they're what they're doing in southern Lebanon right now, what they did in Syria, what they keep doing in the West Bank. Europe cannot embrace Israel as a similar country. Yeah. It was embraced in the Eurovision thing as a kind of a country that was similar in nature, democracy and all that. It is not anymore. It is more like South Africa was back around before Mandela's time. It's a crushing apartheid state. No wonder the people are revolting and fighting back. I mean, I would advise them huge not to do what Yair Sinwar did. But it's been terrorism back and forth since 1897, since Zionism began. So how you settle that, I don't know. But in the meantime, Israel is not behaving like a civilized country at all.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And this Eurovision, with taking away Ireland Netherlands, Spain, and Slovenia, it actually spoils the competition, doesn't it?
Well, I think there's about 35 countries in it, aren't there? About 30
Yeah,
some
there are
countries.
35 countries in it, but as I say, those 4 have pulled out.
Yeah, and it's a protest. I mean, I feel sorry for the musicians, the Israeli musicians. They probably have nothing to do with
Oh,
quality.
absolutely. Yeah.
So this protest is important. The United States is going to be very angry at them because the United States wants you to pretend nothing wrong is happening in Israel. They don't want Netanyahu to be charged under the International Court of Justice. They don't want any of that. They want to stick your head in a bag and say, I don't see anything. I don't hear anything. I don't see anything. But I would say that, I don't know. This is just one more mark against Israel. They think they'll probably just outlast this, that the world has a very short memory span. And once they get past this, they can go ahead and still do the damaging things they're doing against the Palestinians. But
Yeah.
this is a very, very clear message to Israel. Almost nobody cared much about the Palestinians at all, but this is Slovenians are going to be watching instead of Eurovision on TV. They're going to be watching Palestinian documentaries.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, an interesting thought, complete change in direction. That's for sure. All right. One of the things that I've been hearing this weekend, well, I saw this commentator from who's given a number of pictures of the bridge. In fact, he regularly takes a picture across the Peace Bridge, and he's basically saying, he took a picture this weekend, and he's saying hardly anybody going across the Peace Bridge, but in both directions, right? Because he's looking at the Peace Bridge, and in comparison to midwinter, where we are late in April, the last weekend in April, we're looking at the Peace Bridge and there's nobody on it. It's empty.
There are a lot less Canadians going over, but according to this article, Americans still come over here.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, there is a small increase, about 6% increase in Americans coming over here than they have last year. There was a lull in 2025, but it's bounced back. The problem is, of course, Canadian tourists going to the U.S. That's bothered they finally begin to take notice of that in Washington, and they don't like it. Along with of course, the liquor we're not selling on our shelves, American liquor. The problem here is that Canadians are reacting to the insults that are coming from Washington. We don't have anything against American people, but we sure do have a lot against an insulting and crude and vulgar president that, calls people names and calls Canada the 51st state and lies about us taking advantage of them. All that stuff is just rubbish, but that's the way he plays the game. He plays like a loud, vulgar, ignorant potentate, and of course it's had its effect. People have become afraid of him, and but it's been insulting to Canadians. So less Canadians have gone down there. Now, I would have gone down to visit my friend in Florida if she was available for a visit. So it doesn't really bother me too much. I go over and watch lacrosse games, but I'm not going to plan a trip where I spend a lot of money in the United States. I will not do that, until this mess is finished. I don't buy U.S. stuff unless this is finished. That it's a mild way in which we can protest and make it clear that we're an important ally and a friend. So if you insult us and push us around, we're not going to like it. And this is not us responding to the American people. It's us responding to the crude and vulgar American administration. So And I think that, but Americans are coming up here because where else are they going to be welcome? All around the world, everybody's angry at America, and unfortunately, they would take it out on Americans. So where else does an American go to feel comfortable and safe? They can still come to Canada and feel comfortable and safe.
Yeah,
traveling.
well, I'm with you. I'm with you that it's wrong to actually criticize Americans because of what has happened in America, with their president, etc. American individuals are not President Trump, and they shouldn't be tarnished with such, right?
Yes, but the problem is we aren't going to go there. We have our means by which to protest. That the U.S. government is hurting our economy terribly and illegally, according to the agreements we've already had. Now, how are you going to stop the biggest guy on the block from doing stuff illegal? You can't. So the U.S. is doing what they're doing. The tariffs and stuff, according to the agreements we've signed with them, are not legal. But how else do we protest? So we protest by trying to make their economy suffer a little bit. Unfortunately, it's the person, whether it's the American tariffs or Canadians not going to the U.S. or buying American booze, it's actually the ordinary everyday person that suffers, basically.
Yeah. Oh yeah, always.
So it's that guy in the distillery who just lost his job because they're not selling as much booze to Canada.
Yeah.
And it's that guy in Algoma who lost his job because of a 50% tariff on Canadian steel.
Yeah.
We talked about how nonsensical that turns out to be. So Algoma was selling its steel to the U.S., but its iron ore pellets and the coal that it used to produce that came from the States.
And of course, what happens to traveling when you're in an economic crisis? People don't travel when they, if there's a possibility that you could lose your job, you don't travel, do you?
No. Well, one of the things too that Canadians got a lot less money. The dollar's not doing all that well. Our productivity is not all that good. So we do have less money. That's part of the reason why we're not traveling to the U.S. But we are still traveling. According to the article, we are still traveling. We're traveling as much as we ever did. It's just that we have excluded a lot of the American destinations.
Yeah.
So the people who are continuing to travel, that hasn't changed. The number of people who are traveling has not changed at all. It's just where we're going. We're not going. We've excluded a lot of the U.S. destinations.
Yeah. All right.
Also, one other thing I should point out is that a lot of vacations are domestic now. So people, rather than going to the States, would be going down east or out west or something, which means that's a windfall for Canadian tourism because Canadians are staying in country. So that's more money that stays in the country.
Yeah. And of course, at the moment, if you were going somewhere like the Middle East or, if you were visiting family or you're Canadian, you're visiting family out in the danger zones, that's probably something you're not going to do. So maybe you will spend, vacation time in Canada. Right?
Yeah. So there you have it. Anyway,
one thing that I've got to say. Okay, so we're kind of at the end of the day today. Not going to be a show on Thursday.
Okay.
All
right. Well, we're at the end of the show, and I'm going to bring everybody's attention back to Gaza like I always do, and the West Bank too. It's brutally harsh what the Israelis are doing there. They really got to change their attitude. They're a country of 10 million people who run the United States like it's a colony of theirs. The United States has got to open its eyes and say, we can't keep supplying all this money for this apartheid-like regime. They're taking their bulldozers and knocking down buildings in southern Lebanon now. they're doing the same thing. They're knocking down houses and schools and villages and just mowing them right down. People live there. They're going to want to come back there after the war is over, but Israel's going to make sure that they can't come back. There's nothing back for them to come to, and they're going to colonize southern Lebanon. That's what they want to do. The country's not big enough, they figure, and they got to start eating up. They want to get.
But this is more than just your going 3 or 4 miles to the Litani River.
They're wiping out the Litani River's there. That's their first threshold. They even think they're going to go to the next river up, but the first threshold is the Litani River. But not only that, they want to wipe out get rid of all the people that live there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I get you.
And they're going to do whatever they want to do because the United States doesn't have a backbone to stop them. They have incredible power in the Senate and the Congress that may be beginning to wane now. But remember, the resistance to the AIPAC and the Israel lobby has been around for 30 years, and it hasn't made much gains at all. Anyway, what's happening in Gaza is a nightmare. It's something that shouldn't happen. This Eurovision thing is just the beginning, in my view, that Israel will be excluded from a lot of things if it doesn't fix its act. If it doesn't start acting like a real nation.
Well,
people
unfortunately,
like Ben Gvir are barbarians.
Unfortunately,
and why are they in the government?
Yeah, unfortunately, it hurts the Israeli singers.
Right? Well, they're athletes and everything else.
Yeah, exactly. It does, but unfortunately, it's caused by the Israeli government.
Yeah, that's going to have to stop. So
anyway,
I don't know. Anyway,
putting that aside, Dave, continue.
Yes. So I was just saying, just keep Gaza in mind. It's going to get pushed to the back pages, and the nightmare continues there. The Israelis are not going to let any journalists in there. They're not letting any journalists, and anyone that does go in there, they have to have the tour with the Israelis. The 1 or 2 people who are in the military here and there from the U.S. Come back with reports. They're usually slurred or something like that when they report. It's a nightmare there. It should never happen. This is an uncivilized act, and it has to stop.
Yeah.
Without further ado, I bid you adieu.
All right. Bye.